My favorite thing about Transformers Legacy is that it's giving us non-G1 Transformers era characters, which I absolutely love. But I do have to admit, I love what they're doing with a lot of the G1 characters in Legacy, because they're characters that we don't often get a lot of toys of, like Point Break or Crankcase. And there's no doubt that that's encapsulated better by none other than today's subject of deceptibot9 reviews. That's right, it's Legacy Evolution Deluxe Class Devcon, who's getting his first ever main release figure for the first time, and that's absolutely insane, and I love it. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get the intro. How's it going, everyone? deceptibot9 here, and thank you as always for joining me for another episode of deceptibot9 reviews. Before we get into Devcon, I'd like to ask, if you like what you see, go ahead, hit that like button. Plus, if you aren't already subscribed, go ahead, hit the subscribe button as well, and join this great little community we've got here. And if you want to find me anywhere else on the internet, all of my social links are in the description down below. So without further ado, let's go ahead and head down to the review station and take a look at Legacy Evolution Devcon. Alright, and here we are with Devcon, and I honestly think he is fantastic. When they first revealed him a few months back on the Fan First stream, I thought he was a completely brand new mold, and I thought he looked excellent. And then a few minutes later they said, oh, he's actually a partial retool of Blur, and I didn't see it at all. I was like, whoa, what? No way. And then, of course, we get him in hand now, and you can see those Blur parts, and we'll kind of talk about those a little bit, but honestly, I think he is way better than Blur. He takes the Blur mold and just makes it so much more streamlined and a whole lot better, and also a lot more unique to himself, which I think is absolutely excellent. So let's go ahead and look at the details on the figure itself. Alright, we'll start off here with the head sculpt, which is very, very accurate and reminiscent to his appearance in the G1 cartoon, the one episode that he showed up in the cartoon. You can see we got this sort of lighter blue color here with darker blue for the eyes peeking in under there. Nice silver face with a standard sort of transformery looking face, obviously. We got a bunch of details on his head as well. Mine does have a little bit of paint splotching here on the side from the silver. Unfortunate, but, you know, it happens, I guess. Up here on the top, we get the sort of little head crest thingy that he's got moving around to the back of the head sculpt as well. Unfortunately, no light piping, but we do get some nice detail on the back there. And while we're here, let's take a look at the back himself. You can see overall how the back is sort of designed. We got molded detail kind of all around him here with a few little open spots, big hollow section on the back, 5mm ports, which you can use those on, but we'll talk about those when we get to accessories. Molded detail here on the back of the legs, which looks very, very nice. That ends up becoming the top of the alt mode. And around on the sides, you can see there is molded detail and red paint everywhere kind of there as well. Moving back to the front, we get, of course, our nice red Autobot symbol, because despite the fact that he is a bounty hunter, he is an Autobot who is a Decepticon bounty hunter. So a little one-sided there, if you ask me, but still a cool concept nonetheless. A little bit of molded detail here on the shoulders done in the blue, silver here for the upper arm, but with just regular gray plastic there for the elbow. Understand why they do that. More blue here on the arm, as well, with a molded fist right there. 5mm port on the side. A little bit of a red fin going here under the arms, just, of course, for the vehicle mode. Down here, a little bit of red and silver going on here on the grill. Grill, I guess. I don't know if you can call that a grill event, I guess is a better term for it there. Moving out of the legs, done in the gray molded plastic there, as well as for the feet and the legs, we got nice blue paint here on this one. Matches pretty well with the other blue mold stuff going on here as well. And the red right here looks tremendous as well and matches fairly decently with the red feet. So for details on Devcon, there he is. I think he looks absolutely tremendous here in the robot mode. Does have a slight backpack, just again partially because he's using the Blur mold, but honestly not too bad when it's like that, so I don't really mind as much, and I think he works out great overall. So let's go ahead and talk accessories. Okay, so Devcon only comes with 3 accessories, one of which is his gun here, which we'll get a closer look at. So yeah, he's got his gun here, which is molded in this blue plastic and painted up in silver. You can see all the sort of molded detail that we've got on the actual blaster itself. It's a really cool design. I actually like it quite a lot. And of course, he does have 5mm ports everywhere, so you can put it into his hand. I love how it sort of is molded to fit with the bulk of his forearm. I think that's really nice. Or you can put it, of course, on the side of his arm, which I like doing as sort of a laser cannon, I guess. I don't know. It just looks cool on the side for some reason to me. And of course, the tip of it is 3mm, so you can put a blast effect on it just to get him going pew 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 like that. And then his other two accessories here are these little boosters that are used. Ooh, he almost tumbled over. Are his little boosters that you see on his vehicle mode, but of course in robot mode you can incorporate them in a couple different ways. But get a look at them here. You can see the detail on them there. They are painted red, so they're not actually molded red, because you can see they are molded blue. And you can see they're actually kind of two different molds, because the pegs are not in the center of the blaster. They're sort of off to the side on each one. So just keep in mind that affects how you place it on the legs here. Can't put it a certain way. You know, can't put this one with the peg on this side into that side, or else it just won't stay. So just got to plug those in there if you want. I like them down on the legs, kind of little jet boosters for the legs. I think it's a cooler look, but you can also, with these 5mm ports here on the back, put them there as a sort of backpack, or a jet pack, I guess, rather. This is when it starts to get a little bit bulky for me on the backpack, is when you add the jet boosters onto there. I don't know why that much adds to it, but when they're there, not a huge fan. You could, of course, also put them on the arms themselves like that. Maybe even use them as little shoulder pauldrons or something if you would like. Or, of course, the Evo Fusion gimmick that we see mentioned on the back of the box as always. You can put them right there like that, or you can put them backwards like that to make a bigger gun. So really, it is up to you. Of course, it is your figure, and I'm just knocking them all over the place. Evo Fusion him how you like, but for me, I am going to put them there on the back of the legs. So let's go ahead and cover articulation here really quick for Devcon in robot mode. So up on the head, we get on a ball joint that will swivel all the way around. It will also kind of rock side to side. It will look down that much, and it will look up that much. So fairly okay range in the head. Arms do go all the way around. You do have to move them slightly out of the way of the backpack there, just to make sure they go all the way around. They go out that far. They swivel up here at the bicep. The elbows bend to 90. That is a rough 90. The wrists, unfortunately, do not swivel at all, just due to the way he transforms. Waist swivel, we go all the way around with it. Legs go forward that far. They go backward that far as well. They go out to the side. Let's see how the splits are. Beautiful. 10 out of 10 split from Devcon there. Of course, we love to see that. Thighs do have a swivel here. Don't go all the way around just due to how they're molded, but they do go like that. Knees go all the way up to 90, which is great. And the feet do swivel side to side. You can also technically hinge them like that, just because of how they transform. So if you want to put them in sort of a lower type pose like that, you could absolutely do that. So yeah, Devcon is pretty decently posable. You can get some pretty good poses out of him for sure. I do wish that there was slightly more in the elbows, because it doesn't seem like that it goes that far when you put them like that. But what can you do? All right, let's go ahead and do a couple quick comparisons with Devcon here. First off, we'll go with the original Blur mold. So yeah, you can definitely see the differences, but also the similarities here with these two. Pretty much everything from the legs up are completely reworked, except for like the mechanism that houses this to do the transformation right there. Even you can see the back, those are completely different. The shoulders are completely different. The way they work are completely different. Chest is completely different. Even the waist, completely different. The similarities are the legs. So the way the legs are here, those are the same mold, as well as the inside. That's the same mold right there. And now, not even the back. The backs are completely different, and the fronts are completely different, but the feet are the same. So when they say it is a partial retool of Blur, really it seems like all they meant was we used the basic transformation scheme, the feet and the legs, because they are very, very different when it comes to the actual molds on them. Here is Devcon, of course, with Earthrise Smokescreen, who is his buddy in the episode that he appears in. And just for fun, here's my favorite Autobot bounty hunter with my favorite Decepticon bounty hunter, animated Lockdown. I would love if we got a legacy version of Lockdown. All right, that's going to be about it for Devcon's robot mode. So let's go ahead and hit that transformation. And here is Devcon transformed up into his vehicle mode, his Cybertronian hovercraft thingy vehicle mode, whatever it is. I absolutely love it. There's something about this vehicle mode that is just, it's so like sci-fi and so cool. I absolutely love it. And you can see here, now we've appropriated his boosters, and they are now boosters for the back of the vehicle. You could even put them in there on the 5mm ports that become his little extra cannons there. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the details on Devcon's vehicle mode. All right, so coming up here, we have now, this was what was the backpack of his robot mode, is now the front of the vehicle mode. I think it looks absolutely tremendous. We got a little bit of silver up here for this front little cannon section, as well as the actual gun from robot mode here underneath. Like, there's just a 5mm port right there, so it just plugs in. While we're here, let's take a look at the bottom. You can see a little bit of open gappiness here and here, not really that big of a deal in my opinion. And his feet are just resting here, obviously just like the Blur vehicle mode. Here's the front of his legs, the red, the blue, and now here these fins that were the back of his arms in robot mode are now a little more prominent as these sort of wings, I guess, for vehicle mode. We get these little pieces here that were the tops of the shoulder, little back area. Now we can see a little bit of red there on the cannons. Of course, all this sort of panel lining molded detail here on the top, as well as we get to this vent piece, design replicated right here as well to be kind of the front of the vehicle, I guess. Over here, nothing much, same thing. Shoulders are still exposed, yada, yada, yada. Here, what was the back of the legs now become the top and back of the vehicle, so you can get to see that molded detail a little bit more. Thrusters are here. This is where they're meant to go for the vehicle mode. You could put them anywhere that you would like, of course, but this is their assigned position there. And you can see here on the back, that was the top of his legs, or the top of his knee, I guess, but you can see it right here as the back. And yeah, if you wanted to put blast effects in all four of those spots, you absolutely could get them going like hyper boosted. So yeah, unfortunately, while we're talking about blast effects, can't put any here on the front. This is too big. It is, though, I think, it is a 5mm port, so if you wanted to put something 5mm on it, you could. You just unfortunately cannot put any blast effects there, but you can, of course, just since it was the gun in robot mode, put blast effect on the one underneath there. But yeah, I mean, that's Devcon's vehicle mode. I honestly really, really like it. I have a lot of fun just kind of swooshing him around. He's a very swooshy feel to him. So overall, really like it. Let's go ahead and check out some comparisons. All right, we'll bring Blur back out here. And as you can see, yeah, I mean, they didn't really keep a lot, to be completely honest with you. I think, especially when it comes to transformation, they streamlined it a whole lot. I mean, it's basically the same, right? You bring the arms down to the sides, you flip this up to the top, you flip this up and around and close the legs around it. But Devcon doesn't deal with this whole shoulder assembly thing, and especially if you look under here, you can really see where the similarities and differences are. I mean, it is just the fact that these are both kind of technically the same mold is just astounding, because he doesn't feel like it at all, and he's so much better than this. I never hated the Blur. There was a couple things that bothered me about the Blur mold, but yeah, Devcon mold, so much better. Here's Devcon with his buddy Smokescreen, so you can see how they look here in their vehicle modes. They look pretty nice, honestly. I enjoy them. And of course, we bring in Lockdown to wrap up this comparison trio. Yeah, they look great. I absolutely love them. Again, I really would love to get a legacy version of Lockdown. Honestly, this is one of the reasons why Lockdown is so cool. I mean, you can see that how similar they are in size here. In vehicle mode, I mean, they're still obviously a little bit different, but especially when Lockdown was so huge, like almost twice his size in comparison. Yeah, Lockdown rocks. But again, a new version would be awesome. All right, that's going to be about it for my closer look at Legacy Devcon. So why don't we go ahead and bounty hunt our way back up to me for my final thoughts. All right, so what are my final thoughts on Legacy Devcon here? Well, I think he is absolutely tremendous. I think for as kind of as the Blur mold was, even though I did really like the Blur mold, it did have its problems. Devcon here just blows that mold out of the water in every single category. And for it to be a character who only made one appearance in the entirety of the G1 cartoon, to be getting a figure this good is pretty astounding. So I think if you are a fan of Devcon at all, or if you're a fan of toys of characters who barely get released, you're definitely going to want to pick this up, because again, this is the first mass release figure of Devcon. The only other one before this was in an exclusive BotCon box set, and he was just a recolor of the Scourge that was out at the time. But I think Devcon is absolutely tremendous. Alright guys, that is going to do it for my full review of Transformers Legacy Evolution Devcon. Go ahead and let me know your thoughts on this figure down below in the comments, because I would love to talk all things Devcon with you guys. And guys, that brings us to the end of another episode of deceptibot9 reviews. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you very much. I do really, truly appreciate it. As always, I have been your host, deceptibot9. Thank you, as always, for joining me here on the channel, and I will see you guys later.
Shut up and sit down.